Brooklyn. Yeah. Come on. I'm rolling. Go to cedar. Stash in a dash. Hold two heaters. Block eye. Put holes through beaters. Ghetto fast. Throw through cheaters. Ballin'. Brooklyn Dawn. Addicted to Chris. Hooked on Dawn. 50 G's. Hook the song.
Buy this car to drive to work. Drive to work to pay for this car. Buy this car to drive to work. Drive to work.
Welcome to Brick Road. I am Jordan, and today I wanted to hear some of Jimmy's more recent ideas in regards to Bernie Sanders. We all know he's torn. He was at least touring the country with AOC and her sexy ass. Sorry, and you know Bernie's been making some noise about Israel, Gaza, a little bit at least, enough for Kyle to, dust off the "Go Bernie" signs. He's probably always been on that. Let's be real. He's probably been stuck to that shit. Whatever. The point is, I want to hear some of Jimmy's new critiques of Bernie Sanders. But before I get started, don't forget to share, support, hopefully donate to all the links in the description box. Check them out, read them, share them, then donate. All right. Wait, what were you going to say, Anthony?
I forgot, bro.
Oh, God damn it. I hate when that happens.
Yeah.
Anyways, all right. So, name of the video is "Epic Bernie Sanders Takedown over his support for Israel." Now, here's where I'm coming from. Pause. Is that this makes sense for me to make as a video? This makes sense for me to be like doing, but for Jimmy, who had all these hopes for Donald Trump, and he's to the left of Biden. He made a peace deal with Israel, aka a ceasefire, something that happens all the fucking time, and it gets broken all the time too. I mean, this would be hard for him to say because Bernie Sanders is one of the few people I think in Congress saying, "Yo, let's withhold money from them." Like, yo, if they keep committing war crimes, we'll keep money from them. And yeah, he is afraid to say the word genocide. I think there's a reason for that. Or at least he was. I don't know what he said recently, but definitely when Biden was in office, he might have been afraid to say it for the sake of strategy, right? Make Biden not look so bad by saying, boom. It's the Israel Gaza war instead of the Israeli genocide that most people would call it. And he actually got asked questions about it, and he stayed away from it. Right? Maybe for legal reasons. I put that conspiracy theory out there in one of the videos that I covered, or that I did. So, yeah, there's plenty of things to critique Bernie Sanders on. It's just, for a guy like Jimmy Dore, it almost makes no sense to do that. Because everyone that he has thrown up or given somewhat of praise to, or soft praise for, has folded on him, right? Has disappointed him. Even Tulsi Gabbard, right? So, like, okay, that means those guys are done, right? You got to move on. Like, okay, this guy's, because Jimmy's just been following rhetoric, so you might as well just follow that rhetoric. That in fact, Bernie's statements have been more, quote unquote, peace sounding in rhetoric than Donald Trump when he was running for office. So the deal to pull out of Yemen, or to not pull out of Yemen, but stop sending Saudi Arabia weapons to genocide Yemen. Bernie Sanders was one of the lead guys on that, and Trump vetoed it. So logically speaking, even if Jimmy Dore hates Bernie Sanders, maybe Bernie Sanders banged Steph behind his back or something, whatever. Or Bernie took a shot, he's like, yo, Steph, Jimmy ain't it, bro. Here's my number. What do you think? Maybe Bernie was doing that shit, Who knows? even if he was doing that, at the very least for political reasons, according to Mr. Strategist Jimmy Dore and strategist types, he should be in support of Bernie Sanders. Hopefully, my audience understands why I'm not in support of Bernie Sanders in regards to being a president or anything. To be real with you, along with the rest of them. Like, oh, here's why you shouldn't be here. I have plenty of reasons for those. Jimmy, I don't think he has any excuses for this. He should be full-blown supporting Bernie Sanders. Straight up. He should be full-blown supporting him. Based on the guy who's playing strategy and looking for results. How he determines what results will happen is based on rhetoric. Bernie Sanders now has the best rhetoric. You have to be supporting Bernie Sanders. If Bernie Sanders, let's say he ran again and won the nomination, you have to support him. If AOC ran for president and won the nomination, you have to support AOC. Or at very least, like you did with Trump, give soft support of. Like, logically speaking. Unless Jimmy says, I'm done with all of it. It's all bullshit now. I'm done with all of it. But that would admit that he was wrong about all the things he was doing beforehand, right? He'd be like, all right, I fucked up before. I'm not going to fuck up again, bro. You have to be ironclad legitimate for me to vote for you. Or for me to even soft endorse you or soft support you. So, that would make sense. Okay. But we're not there yet, apparently. Once again, I watched the live stream today of Jimmy Dore, and I got freaked out a bit because I'm like, are you trying to stand on some sort of podium like you can take credit for anything right now? There's no way you're doing that, right, in front of me. Not while I'm watching, bro. That shit ain't happening over here, bro. Whether I make a video about it, or I say it to people here, or I say it in my own fucking head, no chance I'm letting that shit fly by. And be like, oh man, maybe Jimmy changed. Maybe Jimmy figured it out. Like, no. You're not going to stand on a podium and say, yeah, I've been saying these things for yada yada. You're not doing that here, bro. Not after the videos I just went over. I don't know when I'm releasing, like which order, so you'll see a video where we'll look at past videos of Jimmy Dore talking about Donald Trump. You'll see one in particular with Scott Ritter, where it's like, yo, they shot at him. CNN hates him. The deep state hates him. There must be something to be hopeful about with this guy. Once again, not based on policy. Not based on actual policy. He had 4 years of actual policy that you could look at that shows the exact opposite. But he's just going off rhetoric. And you know what? If you're going to stay in that mode, Jimmy, if you're going to stay in dum-dum land like that, you might as well, you have to support Bernie Sanders. You have to. Based on policy, based on rhetoric, I mean. And in fact, Bernie has done more, as in he has written up policy to get us out of some wars. Trump has been nowhere near that at all. Nowhere near it. Not even close to that. So, once again, just if you're going to be a strategist, maintain your consistency. That's it. That's all. Anyways, here we go.
Now I want to show you. Nick,
wait for the
did a
Jimmy
great
Dickwicks to
video
come in here and say
about
something.
Just,
Maybe to wreck
you
their
want to
shit
see
too.
what a phony Bernie Sanders is? And the fact that people still follow him is just amazing to me, jaw-dropping. So
and you know what, really quickly, Jimmy, I just have to point out, this is a guy who's supposedly an independent, who can't
he's
stop
supposed
doing
to be
rallying
independent
with
That's
Democrats.
Right. That's right. So here we go.
Bernie Sanders joined
Oh shit, it's
genocidal Zion.
what are they called? Fred Hampton left us. There we go. Fred Hampton left us. All right, here we go.
You dead naming them. They're revolutionary black.
No. They're Freddie Hampton left us. Here we go.
Oh, here we go.
They tried
Bernie
to.
Sanders joins a bunch of genocidal Zionist Sanders to pass a Lindsey Graham resolution promising to support Israel forever and to destroy Hamas. Bernie Sanders.
Just keep that in mind. He just supported a Lindsey Graham resolution in favor of Israel and the Greater Israel Project.
Does Israel have minerals, Jimmy?
So, yeah, but Trump was already doing that. You gave him hope. You gave him soft support and some hope. You gave him hope at least. Which is just, that's crazy, right? You can't be doing that. So, to be consistent, unless you give up, you're just done with you're done with these motherfuckers completely, Jimmy. Unless you're in that mode, you have to support Bernie Sanders. You have to, because he has at the very least like written up legislation to quote unquote contain Israel's problems, quote unquote. Trump has done nothing but shovel money into their hands and bombs into their hands. That's it. He's done nothing else other than shoveling money and bombs. And if anyone has a problem with Israel, he fucks them up in the Middle East. And that's not me saying, like, oh, he's owned by Israel. I don't believe in that narrative, bro. I just don't. These fools work together as teammates. As far as your own seemingly stated assessments, Jimmy, there's no way you could say Bernie Sanders is on their team in regards to that. It's almost like, wait, maybe Jimmy hopes Bernie Sanders is bad on this, so he can say I'm right about it. That would be dangerous territory. That'd be pathological, right?
Yeah.
Maybe he's using his hope tool against Bernie Sanders. And once again, folks, I'm not some Bernie supporter here. I'm really not. I make videos criticizing the fucking guy. I make videos explaining why I haven't voted for him, haven't supported him. I'll point out things where I'm like, oh, maybe he means well, or it seems like Bernie means well. I've said that before, 100%. I still believe that, actually, at this point of view. I think he's just a coward and weak, you know? But maybe he's corrupt. Guess what? I'm not going to get in your way if you make that argument at all. But if you in the past made arguments that Donald Trump is not so corrupt and that he means well and he wants peace maybe for narcissistic reasons or vanity, or maybe he actually just loves peace, whatever, if you made that, you better be consistent and give Bernie his fucking flowers too. That's all I'm saying. I'm not in that camp because I wasn't out here dick riding Bernie Sanders. But, you know, let's keep it moving. These guys were though. Pretty sure Fred Hampton was doing this. I'm pretty sure Jimmy was dick riding Bernie Sanders, right? And then they flipped over. Now, Fred Hampton, I'm sure, did not give full-blown support for Donald Trump, or like even soft support for Donald Trump. I'm pretty sure of that, right? I don't think he did that, but Jimmy definitely did. I just did a video on it. I just did the video. Jimmy definitely gave soft support for Donald Trump, or at the very least, MAGA or whatever. This ain't MAGA. All right, here we go.
To destroy Hamas, Bernie said.
Just keep that in mind. He just supported a Lindsey
To destroy Hamas.
Senate unanimously approves resolution to affirm Hamas cannot retain control of Gaza. Okay. Yeah, it sounds like Bernie Sanders would do that, 100%. Bernie Sanders has said crazy things as like, yo, we want to have a ceasefire, but we can't because Hamas won't come to the table. Meanwhile, everyone else knows on the fucking internet knows Hamas has been begging for ceasefires up to like days after October 7th. So, once again, yeah, criticize Bernie for that shit, 100%. But to say that's, once again, just by their own logic, by their own strategy, is that worse than Donald Trump's policy? You can't say that. Maybe you can say it's equal, but you can't say it's worse. And then when Bernie comes up with resolutions to take money away from Israel, you would have to say that's better. So I don't want Jimmy Dore out here like dismissing Bernie Sanders while he's doing the strategical shit, and he was having some hope for Donald Trump. That doesn't make sense to me. Unless he's turned a new leaf and he's had an epiphany. He's like, damn, I was so wrong all this time. Let me figure it out. But I don't see him out here saying how wrong he was. At least not yet. I haven't seen it. Maybe someone's seen that during his live streams or something. I have not seen it yet. I'm seeing a lot of yelling and screaming about. And you won't hear that anywhere here but here. You won't hear that anywhere else but here. Maybe not those words, but he's kind of like. Right? Jimmy says one thing. Aaron Mate's like, well, Bernie Sanders out there. He's doing that. And nothing from Jimmy. No response. It's like, welp. I'm just saying. I'm just trying to fix the mistakes that already happened, bro. Trying to help Jimmy, bro. Trying to be his conscience, bro. Like, don't make the same mistakes again, Jimmy. Anyways, here we go.
Bernie Sanders.
Just keep that in mind. He just supported a Lindsey Graham resolution in favor of Israel and the Greater Israel Project. Keep
Does
that.
Israel have minerals, Jimmy?
So just keep that in mind. Here we go. Let me back it up a little.
Bernie Sanders' idea of resisting Donald Trump is joining Senate Republicans so they can support Israel in never-ending war. Another example of how social democracy is just a moderate wing of fascism. Hamas is the legitimate governing body of Gaza, and they have a legal right to engage in armed resistance against Israel, a genocidal apartheid regime that is occupying them. But Bernie Sanders knows this. Bernie Sanders is engaging in pro-genocide propaganda on behalf of Israel. Bernie Sanders wants to convince you that Israeli military action in Gaza is designed to eliminate Hamas instead of the complete extermination of the Palestinian people. This is Bernie Sanders legitimizing genocide, a term that he still refuses to use to describe Israel's military actions. But just to illustrate how much of a Zionist warmonger piece of shit Bernie Sanders actually is.
Jesus Christ. Zionist warmonger piece of shit. Are these Jimmy's hitmen or something? Like, what is this? Listen, kid, I want you to go out there. Give him hell. I mean, once again, I leave room. Maybe Bernie means well and he's just a weak old man. I leave room for that. I leave room for Jimmy in that same regard. Like, maybe he means well, but he's just a weak old man. He's out of shape. He contradicting himself all the time and forgetting things that he said, months ago or whatever, right? Maybe he's one of those. Maybe he's that. I don't know. Zion, maybe. As long as Fred Hampton here is making the same video about Bernie Sanders wanting to pull money from, like, right? You have to say that, don't you? To keep it honest, right? If you want to be honest about it, like, you have to say, like, well, he's the only guy, like, apparently drawing up resolutions to take money away from Israel, like defund them if they commit war crimes or whatever the fuck. And I think the war crimes are kind of provable. Now, I don't know the exact details of that, but I've heard him say it in words, and these guys like words. They love words out loud. They love that shit. That can make or break a candidate for these guys. It's just hearing words being said out loud. So, like, I'm just saying. Like, is that where, like, you have to give him some word credit, bro? Like, oh man, in rhetoric, okay. But I'll wait till I see it. And I think he did bring it up to be voted on, right? It probably got shut down. But once again, not saying Fred Hampton here gave any lip service or soft support for Donald Trump, but Jimmy definitely did. He definitely did. Once again, I went over videos where it's like blatant proof of this. Or at least we can call it hope. Like, man, I hope. But anyways, here we go.
To use to describe Israel's military actions. But just to illustrate how much of a Zionist warmonger piece of shit Bernie Sanders actually is, this resolution also
harsh,
calls
man.
to
Jesus.
defend Israel against Iran
gun click.
and all their proxies that threaten.
He's got the early 2000s. DJ Clue. Illuminati. They got the click-clack booms. Okay. That means he's firing on him, bro. He's firing on you, Bernie. Get wrecked. It's not a threat of violence, Bernie Sanders. Don't be scared of this, okay? Someone make a big state for Bernie, please. They gotta do the bomb dropping, too. The fucking funk flex. Alright, whatever.
This resolution also calls to defend Israel against Iran and all their proxies that threaten Israel in the region. This is Bernie Sanders giving the international resistance against Zionism a giant middle finger. This is Bernie Sanders legitimizing Israel's invasion of Lebanon, the invasion of the West Bank, the invasion of Syria. This is Bernie Sanders openly endorsing the greater Israel plan. Bernie Sanders isn't just a sellout, he is outright evil, and it's time for us to start treating him like the enemy.
God dang. He is evil. God
Hot
dang.
spot, bro. That's that Nico app.
God dang, man. Well, they're hitting a lot of cold spots here with me. God dang, that is some inflammatory. Maybe it is hotspot. That's some inflammatory statements, right? He is like Bernie Sanders is evil. It's like fuck. Define evil. Being against your causes means evil. I don't know, man. Once again, I don't view Bernie Sanders I don't view any human being as evil. So I think Bernie, at the bare minimum, is he stupid? Yep. Is he weak? Yep. Is he soft? Yep. Pause for that. Like, now, is he working against people? You know what? I can't stand. What's his real name? Nick, right? I can't get in his way.
Yeah.
If he went on a podium and said, "Yo, Bernie Sanders is a piece of shit. He's a Zionist piece of shit," guess what? I say, all right, prove it. Good. There's no outright denying it. There's no outright, yo, shut up, Nick. Yo, shut up, man. Shut up. Like, no. Like, let him make his case. That's where I'm at with Bernie Sanders. Also, I'd do that anyways, right? Even if Bernie had the cleanest record of all time, I'd still be like, oh, you got an accusation? All right, get on the podium and prove it. But the shit that this Nick guy's saying, guess what? He'd have actual ammo for this. He would. Now, is that my true assessment of Bernie? No. I leave room. I've seen him in certain instances be a weak old man, and with certain policies where he's like, oh, well, of course they have the right to exist, right? Where he's like, not challenging, like, yo, why are you trying to set the table on me? Let me say what I want to say. Why are you trying to set the table on me like that? Why are you asking me if does Israel have the right to exist? What kind of stupid fucking question is that? I'm pointing out corruption wherever the fuck I find it. That's it. And guess what? What's happening with these guys in office is corruption. They're killing children on purpose, bro. Like, it clear as day seems that way. And I can make that assessment because when someone does blatantly kill a child, or, let's be real, execute fucking medics and shit like that, they don't get in trouble for it. I haven't seen anyone get in trouble for any of this, which means you're okay with it. Because guess what? The rest of the world is fucking talking about it. How the fuck do you not know about it? Right? Of course they know about it. But whatever. Either way, this feels like the opposite of what I was doing, in my opinion, when I reacted to Kyle's video or Hassan's video where they interview Bernie Sanders, or where Hassan interviewed Bernie Sanders in AOC, and then you also have, did I react to that? I don't know if I reacted to that or not. I talked about it at the very least. Or Kyle saying, like, yeah, they're back, bro. Look at the crowds they're drawing, bro. Look at the crowds that Bernie and AOC are drawing up, bro. This is the time, bro. We could do this. I'm like, oh, God, Kyle. All right. It's just eyes roll over type shit.
How many times have you heard this before?
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, damn, I forgot my point. Fuck. Not because of you, because I was actually forgetting it as I was saying those certain points that I covered these things already. Fuck. All right, well, I'll just, whatever. Bernie and AOC, they should be fucking criticized for these, like, yo, where are you guys actually at now? Like really criticize them. Like, feet to fire type shit. That should happen. 100%. But after the rump shaking for, I guess maybe the MAGA crowd, or the hopium for Donald Trump, that this guy had, like, sorry, if you're on the same, wavelength still, you're going to have to, like, speak up for Bernie Sanders. You can't just dismiss him, bro. You can't. Not by your own standards. Once again, I'm not using my own moral standards. I'm using yours. Of what you showed me. Out loud, at least. Just like you use with politicians, right? Like, oh, Trump said he's going to cut the military in half. Someone had to actually correct you on that. It was just hilarious. And then it actually became released news that, like, oh yeah, Trump is not cutting it. Like, why would I cut the military? What? And then as of now, he wants to ramp it up to $1 trillion of spending on the military. He's going the exact opposite direction. Now it's like, here's your time, Jimmy, to actually really assess the Bernie Sanders character. Like, do you think if he was elected, do you truly think the military budget would go up with him? Do you truly believe that? Make an argument for it. Like, start assessing things. Don't just say, Bernie burned me before, he'll burn me again. Make a real assessment of things. All right? Keep it real about this Bernie Sanders character. Don't just dislike him for the sake of disliking him. That we don't have time or room for that shit in regards to politics. And Jimmy has a large audience. Same with Kyle. So when Kyle's telling everyone to, like, oh, if these guys don't stand with you on this, they're your enemy. Or I'm like, you fucking idiot. I guess I'm your enemy. Fine. At least you said it out loud. At least you stated. At least you stood up with it. Fine. Fair enough. I think you're a fucking idiot for that. And a poor strategist for that. But it is what it is. And let's be real, immoral. I'll throw that out there. Like, you're not trying to, or not immoral, I'll say amoral. According to probably your own principles. But, like, yo. It's like, where you at, Jimmy? Where you at? Because you're going to look like a fucking hypocrite if you work your ass off to take Bernie Sanders down after all this shit I just saw you do with Donald Trump. And then, once again, this is not 20 years ago. This is months ago you were doing this for Donald Trump. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to, well, let's see where he goes. It's just, politics is so fucking trash. Strategies are so fucking trash. Thus, the people that practice in these things are fucking trash. And it's becoming more and more obvious when you start introducing more and more different scenarios in front of them. They just fail the IQ test over and over and over again. It's just like, fuck. Anyways, here we go. Let's hear where Jimmy's going with covering Fred Hampton's video. Here we go.
So that's who Bernie Sanders is.
Yeah, keep that music going.
So that's who Bernie Sanders is. So
Hey,
when you
come on, if you knew what they had on him, you'd understand why he's like that.
So when you see Bernie Sanders do this as if he's opposing anything, he's not. What he's doing is doubling down on his support of genocide and war and the war machine and also Wall Street. That's who Bernie Sanders is.
Now, here's where it gets heartbreaking, Jimmy, for me at least, because it's like, dude, I just watched you do a video with Scott Ritter talking about Donald Trump, and you said you have hope. You have hope because they shot at him. Deep State shot at him. CNN doesn't like him. MSNBC doesn't like him. The people I don't like him. Thus, that makes him good, and thus I have hope that he'll be a peace guy because he wants to do peace. It's like, what? It's like, well, Bernie has those same credits actually, other than the being shot at. But he has somewhat of those same credits of news stations smearing him during campaigns, right? To make him look bad. Articles in Obama behind closed doors telling people to make him look bad, right? You have evidence of that. You covered those videos. Remember that. Was that your only reason for supporting Bernie Sanders? He's still getting the same treatment. They're going to downplay him no matter what. If AOC actually ran for a presidential office, they're going to downplay her too, most likely. Unless some sort of change happens in the future. Are you going to be the guy that stands in their way now? After you just did this whole fucking chuck and jive for fucking Trump? Now you're going to stand in their way? It's just like crazy. The thing you were begging for before is now maybe... I'm not saying now has a chance. Let's say the possibility of a chance, and you're going to stand in its way? You're going to fight against it and make sure it doesn't get anywhere? I want people that care about the workers. I don't think that's changed with Bernie Sanders' policy, right? Maybe he's a weak little bitch, but still, his policy I don't think has changed. His foreign policy's always been dog shit, Jimmy, which is why I wasn't supporting him early on. But you were. You were supporting him with that same dog shit foreign policy. I made videos about Matt Duss, his foreign policy advisor, when he was running in 2020. I may not have talked about the kill list thing and the war. Like, Bernie's essentially in support of the war on terror. Let's be honest. Because I guess he believes the 5-star generals that tell him who's a good guy and who's a bad guy. Or Bernie's playing strategy like you play and like Kyle Kulinski play, where Sanders will vote a certain way and he'll say certain rhetoric out loud in order to, like, maybe one day I'll be able to run for office. It did a Trump voice there. Maybe one day I could run for office and win if I just go along with their plan right now. But secretly, I'm working against them behind their backs, so that if I ever become president, I will dismantle the CIA, the Pentagon, all this wasteful spending and innocent lives lost. I will fight against it. What's stopping you from trusting the plan with Bernie? It's weird. I know why I'm not. But why are you not, Jimmy? That makes no sense. Also, AOC is a fucking hottie, bro. I mean, I'm voting blue no matter who. Now. Like, if wherever she's doing, I'm voting for her. She runs for Senate in New York. From Alaska, New York, I will vote for her. Because I just want a hug, you know? Just one hug. Saying? This perv people out. Anyways, here we go.
He's a garbage politician. And just like Mitch McConnell, just like Lindsey Graham.
As far as the policies you want to get done, Jimmy, on the surface, he's the best you got. The actual policies that you want done, Jimmy, he's the best you got. Believe it or not. With all the problems that you will point out, he's still the best you got. And if Bernie Sanders ran for president against, let's say, some MAGA guy that's like, well, listen, I'm just going to do the same thing that Donald Trump did. Do you want more MAGA, guys? Do you want more MAGA? I'm running for office, and let's say that guy wins the primary, and he goes up against Bernie Sanders, even though I don't think Bernie's running. Whatever. Let's say, hypothetically, that Bernie's running against some MAGA guy. You have to, like, according to your own stated ideas, morals, principles, strategies, whatever. Right? If you're all about results, if you're willing to do lesser of evils, there's no way you can vote for anyone else but Bernie Sanders in regards to that. Or actually, he could not vote for Bernie Sanders, but he can give soft support of Bernie Sanders and say, like, well, he's to the left of whatever MAGA guy, or let's say it's J.D. Vance or something. Whatever MAGA guy, he's to the left of the MAGA guy, so. And he's more anti-war than J.D. Vance. You'd have to say those things. You would have to, Jimmy. Thus, your strategy dug you in your own fucking grave, bro. You buried yourself in your own strategy. And Kyle's the same thing. As much as he loves AOC and Bernie Sanders, guess what? If it's some Democrat that will actually squander and push down Bernie Sanders and AOC and try to primary these fools and get them out of there, I think Kyle would have to say, like, I still have to vote for the Democrat. It is what it is, man. But like, these guys they've, in my opinion, have failed the IQ test, and now they have to live with it. And I'm gonna remind them. I'm going to remind them where they're at. And if they're going to keep going with this strategy bullshit, you have to be consistent with it. Otherwise, why do we trust you then? How the fuck will we trust you if you're bullshitting on your own fucking strategy without telling us why, or really like doing a full examination of why you're changing routes? Why should anyone trust you in regards to that then? Anyways, here we go. Once again, I'm a nobody YouTuber. These fools aren't going to hear this shit. Unless you make me rich and famous. Just make me rich and famous, guys. I'll run for office. I will smush Jimmy and Kyle. They can hold hands while I smush them, too. That's all I'm saying. All right, here we go.
Street. That's who Bernie Sanders
You
is.
heard him? Y'all heard what he said? Record that.
He's a garbage politician. And just like Mitch McConnell, just like Lindsey Graham, just like Joe Biden, he's a
Mitch McConnell, Lindsey Graham, and Joe Biden. Do you really think, once again, out loud words being said, Bernie's not the same thing? Now, if he's talking about some sort of, like, all the little stories that don't come out on the surface, if that's what I'm talking about, if that's what Jimmy's talking about, like, okay, fine. Why don't you do that with Trump? This better not be for some self-fulfillment, some self-gripe, some petty, prideful shit. We don't have time for that, Jimmy. There's no time for that shit. People die because of these things. They do. People die because of these things. Thus, there's no time for risking things for your own fucking pride or your own petty reasons. You better have a good fucking reason. If Bernie Sanders is running for office and he has the same exact stated policies that he's always had, and he's running against MAGA guy, you better have a good fucking reason to not give that soft support of Bernie or vote for him outright. You better have a great fucking reason.
He's
Sad.
a garbage politician. And just like Mitch McConnell, just like Lindsey Graham, just like Joe Biden, he's a garbage politician.
God.
I find it very hard to believe that this was a real genuine turnout. I just do. Who is that big a loser that they and they're all mad at like
This
Chuck
guy's a
Schumer and
fucking-
shit, but not
fucking
these
dumb
two
fuck.
chuckleheads? That doesn't even make sense.
I can't say I know. Intuition guess. I think it's legitimate. I think there's a bunch of people hopeful in a bunch of different states. And sure, 15,000 people sounds like a lot. Like, that is a lot. And Bernie's been doing that for years as far as like presidential campaigns and shit like that. And AOC, she's very popular. I don't think it's all bullshit. I mean, if you can find the proof that it's the Democratic Party actually boosting up Bernie Sanders and AOC, we'll see. But I have no reason to think it's not legit, but I'm open to questions. I don't mind that. All right, here we go.
Especially Bernie. Anybody that like Bernie, why would you still like him at this point?
What does
Because-
he stand
These are all
for?
made by ex-Bernie.
Because on the surface, he stayed consistent. Not in my world. I think he's like a weak old man, bro. I really do. Weak old man, out of shape. You shouldn't be doing this anymore. You should, like... I mean, just keeping it real, man. I don't think he's built for this type of shit. And I don't use people as placeholders. They're not my objects. They're not my tools. They're human beings. And it's like, damn, if you don't have the heart for this, man, maybe do something else. Like, go explore your existentialism. But, yeah. There are people who think he hasn't bent the knee at all. Like, it's just smart strategy. There's a lot of people that think that. So, whatever. I guess they're just dismissing them as, like, not real or something. But, whatever. All right, here we go.
people.
I know. I was a Bernie guy in 2016. And then I woke up.
Yeah, so,
Chris
and the
Hedges woke up
Democrats don't
before
like
me.
him. They never liked him. The
Dem-
regular
Demo-
Democrats.
regular
so
Democrats
who's showing
hate
up?
Bernie Sanders. Regular Democrats hate Bernie Sanders because he opposed Hillary Clinton.
So then how's he drawing the crowds? If he's not getting support from the Bernie supporters, or if he's not getting support from the Democratic Party, and Kurt's questioning, like, man, how are they getting, like, is this a real are these real people? Is he saying it's CGI or AI animated crowds or something? So how's he doing that? Is he spending his own money to do that? AOC and Bernie are spending their own money to build crowds like that? That doesn't make sense. But maybe they're saying, maybe Jimmy's saying one thing and Kurt's saying a different thing. Anyways, here we go.
Yeah, who is and even though he signed that, and even though I'm sure she signed whatever for Israel, they're still not liked by AIPAC, right?
I don't know. Who knows? But I'm sure AIPAC has some pictures of Bernie with a goat. They've got him
Yeah.
they've got him or a little boy or something.
Yeah.
They've got Bernie. They've got
Bernie. Well, I think this is before Bernie's policy to take funding away from Israel based on war crimes. Well, I think it's a weak bill or a weak position because I think it's more aimed at Netanyahu, which would make it weak to me. All right, but I mean, he's just saying like, it's one thing if you're me saying this, and I'm not even trying to big myself up. It's just like I've been saying like oh, I don't trust either one of these motherfuckers. Been saying that. And then when Trump rolled around, I didn't fall for that bullshit. But Jimmy did. He clearly fell for that shit. And now he's saying, like, well, he's just saying, like, yeah, they got something on Bernie. It's like, well, what did they have on Trump? Because that was present before he got elected. You would have to ask yourself, like, damn, what does Israel have on Donald Trump now? But instead, they were out here like, yeah, look at the peace deal. That was like a basic ceasefire. Peace deal. Russia, Ukraine, peace deal. Still at war. Gazans, the Palestinians still being genocided. All right, here we go.
no, but I'm sure AIPAC has some pictures of Bernie with a goat. They've got him they've got him or a little boy.
So
or
Bernie's
something.
blackmailed.
They've got Bernie. They've got him. Bernie Sanders
somebody got him a long time ago, that's for sure.
Bernie
because
Sanders
he is a rat fuck bastard.
He is a good little boy. Bernie Sanders is a good boy to the establishment, and this is a this is a stadium full of people who don't get that. He's a good boy, and so they think they're opposing something. You're opposing nothing. You want the same oligarchy in power but with a D next to their name. That's all. Come see us on tour and.
It's like, it sounds like it's a personal gripe and not actually about. That's what it sounds. It sounds like a personal gripe and not about actual, at least surface level assessment, which is what he's done with other people. Why is that being thrown away now? Did Bernie not getting voted in like hurt your feelings so badly that you're willing to say they must got tapes on him, they got blackmail on him. He's a piece of shit. He's whatever the fuck. You played a guy that was like, he's calling him evil. He's an evil piece of shit. Like, damn. And what was Trump doing? Like, at the same time, like, I have to bring that up. I'm sorry. I'll bring it up every fucking time. And it's like, what was Trump doing before he got elected for a second time? What did he do in those first 4 years? Like, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. So, hey, if Bernie runs again and he makes it all the way to the general election as the Democratic representative, or AOC does, either one, or someone like them, I'm very curious to see what Jimmy does. Something tells me pride's more important than I don't care about these. I care about results. What did he say on the Dad Saves America dumb fuck podcast? What did he say? I only care about the results, bro. I'm not out here like. I'm not worried about these things. It's about results. According to what Jimmy would call predict, as far as like predictions of results, there'd be more things in favor of Bernie Sanders or someone like him doing those quote unquote things you like in office versus Donald Trump at any point, except for Donald Trump after he got elected the first time. After that point, and you see what he did during his presidency, like within weeks or months, showcase like, oh, he's a neocon. Got it. He's a neocon, or he works for neocons. He hires neocons. He does neocon shit throughout his presidency. But yet all that happened. And then when Trump runs again, you say you have hope for things. There's no way that Bernie Sanders is in a worse place than Donald Trump was in this second election, bro. In his second run, or I guess third run, but second time winning, right? There's no way that Bernie has been in a worse position in regards to that. You could say equal, but you can't say worse. You can't say worse. Sorry. And in fact, I don't think Jimmy can say worse or equal. Jimmy, as far as what he says out loud, he would have to say better. Bernie's in a better position politically as far as what Jimmy likes about, as far as what policies Jimmy likes. Bernie's actually in a better position than Donald Trump has ever been in, other than maybe 2015 when he first ran. Everything after that, Jimmy should be saying that Bernie's in a better position, straight up, especially now. But it is what it is. Let's keep it moving. Just so the Bernie fans realize, like, I'm trying to be as blatantly honest as I can, being as blatantly consistent as I can. Like, well, I'm not trying to be consistent. I'm just being me. I'll be real with you. I'm not trying to be consistent. I'm trying to just be me. And this is what I think. This is what I feel about these things. And I don't want anyone coming in here to, oh, you're a Trump fan. Oh, you're a Bernie fan. Like, I don't want to hear either one. But at the same time, I'm not going to placate to you because you're a fucking idiot. If you say that about me, you're a fucking idiot. And you're not actually paying attention. You're just wanting something to scream at, maybe. Who knows? I don't know. Hey, your life. I don't know. All right, there's the video. Please subscribe if you like, comment, agree, disagree. Tell me what you think. Is Bernie the worst thing to ever happen? If he ran again, would that be the worst thing ever? Do you think Jimmy's right? Jimmy's right. Do you think Jimmy's inconsistent? Do you think Jimmy's a fucking hack? Do you think Jimmy's fucking hypocritical? Do you think Jimmy's right? Whatever. Do you think I'm right or wrong or hypocritical or whatever the fuck? Please, let it be known. Don't forget to share, support, hopefully donate to all the links in the description box. Check them out, read them, share them, then donate. And with all that said, give this video a super duper hefty thumbs down.
Say you wanna get in.